Today's guest is Nisreen Salem from occupied East Jerusalem in the Valley of the Beast, Sheikh Jarrah.
You feel like the whole anxiety of East Jerusalem moved to Sheikh Jarrah. We have a protest every night.
Update on the Salem family. The Jerusalem court indefinitely postponed the expulsion. Postponing it doesn't mean that they are actually canceling the expulsion. Originally, there are 6 neighborhoods. The occupation already expelled 4 of those 6. If these 2 neighborhoods are lost, then Palestinians are going to be in an incredibly difficult situation because the location of Sheikh Jarrah is very important. If you want to go anywhere, you have to pass through Sheikh Jarrah.
The real problem here with the afro-Palestinian, I don't know enough about us. We have a different issues with the Palestinian or the Israeli society. Look like the double apartheid of Israel moved what the American doing, the black people, and do it here at Palestine.
Hello and welcome to episode 46 of the Palestine Pod, the weekly podcast where we break down the latest headlines dealing with Palestine from all over the world and bring you stories, commentary, and interviews with the aim of supporting the Palestinian struggle for justice and equal rights. I'm one of your hosts, Lara E. You might know me from Instagram as @GazanGirl, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mikey B.
What's up, y'all? Mikey B on TikTok. Actually, not anymore because they kicked me off.
That day was coming.
Yeah, they did boot me off. So was Mikey V on TikTok, Michael Schertzer on Instagram, and you can call me Mikey Intifada if you took down my freaking TikTok, bro.
Didn't you make a new one though?
I did make a new one. It's called Mikey Be Back. You know what I mean? We're rocking strong with 17 followers. We're back to a nice, sweet spot where we want to be.
How many followers did you have?
I had about 20,000, give or take.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Took a couple years to build, right? We'll build it again.
Do you feel that you are famous? They got to you and when you are in the street and told you, hi, we know you from TikTok.
I have been recognized by both Palestinians and Zionists. So, but I don't think that I'm famous. It's just they have a very dedicated intelligence service, right? That's what they do.
Before we get into today's episode, please like, comment, and subscribe if you hang out with us on YouTube. And if you're listening on a podcast app, subscribe and leave a review. As always, you can find our full episodes and sources on PalestinePod.com. And if you want to get involved in the conversation, please reach out to us at PalestinePod@gmail.com and give us a follow on Instagram @ThePalestinePod. We're also still going strong on Patreon, so if you love the Palestine Pod and you want to support this project, join our Patreon where you get early access to the Palestine Pod episodes, exclusive content, including our latest creation, the Patreon Pod. It's a little more laid back. We talk politics, Palestine, pop culture, and get a little more personal. We're also hosting our monthly Zoom happy hours for our Patreon subscribers only, so really exciting stuff. Check us out on patreon.com/Palestine. Today's guest is Nisreen Salem, photojournalist coming to us live from occupied East Jerusalem in the Valley of the Beast from Sheikh Jarrah. Nisreen, welcome to the Palestine Pod.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, coming to us from Sheikh Jarrah. Can you give us an idea of what it is that you're witnessing today? What have you seen in the last few days?
Okay. Actually, the thing is crazy here at Sheikh Jarrah. You feel like the whole anxiety of the East Jerusalem moved to Sheikh Jarrah here. You see the 2 sides just fighting, the settlers and the Palestinian side. There is someone who called him Itamar Ben Gafir. He's part of the Israeli Knesset, and he come here and just open his office behind Salem family's land. So he give something like a permission to the settlers to come to Sheikh Jarrah and have a fighting and argument with the Palestinian who live here at Sheikh Jarrah. Actually, the things it's coming to be crazy again. And we have here a protest every night. So they have a protest, and Ben Gafir come and told speak to the Arab people actually and told them, okay, you can go to Syria or go to Saudi Arabia or going to any place, any Arab Arabian place, but don't be here at Al Sheikh Jarrah or at Palestine at all and East Jerusalem.
Yeah, you say that he opened an office, and I saw that happened on Instagram. It looked pretty similar to just a picnic table, right? Like not an actual office, but he's calling it like an office, but really he's like got the same gear as a cookout.
Yes, he said he want to protect the settlers, who's actually the neighbor of the Salem family. He thought that the settlers are in danger with the Salem family, and he thinks the police can't protect the settlers. He said, "Okay, I can open an office there and bring my friends and my colleagues to the land and doing our meeting at this land."
He is the face of public safety.
Yes. Actually, I think everything happened here and Al Sheikh Jarrah because he wanted to be a president. And the settlers, the main problem, I think, the settlers believe that he will be a good president at all. I think he make the voices for what will happening at Mayo, and he want to become the president, and if he do like that, he will be the next president.
He thinks that by leaning into the most disgusting aspects of settler colonialism, that he can arouse a base and then amass political power, right? He thinks that by running and telling people straight up, go to Syria, as opposed to, the circumspectly way of displacing Palestinians, that he can create this movement. And I mean, it seems like it's working, sadly.
Yes. For a few hours, he came and put the Israeli flag behind a Palestinian family and told them, "This is my house. You should go away from my house." They live in their houses approximately since 48. Here is the problem. He thinks that his home was here before 4,000 years ago. So imagine it that I told to you that okay, go out from your home. This is my home before 4,000 years. So what you are doing when someone said to you like this suddenly?
Tell them to find a psychiatrist because they sound insane. I mean, that's...
Are the meds hitting?
Either I am a journalist and okay, here is the problem. I can't speak anything about what's happening. This is my job, just to show the people what happened. Many times the settlers come and told to me, you can't take photos here. This is our land. They look at us either if we are a journalist or anything else like Arabs. We just an Arabs, so we shouldn't be here anymore.
I want to give a quick update on the Salem family because there were some developments in the legal proceedings. On February 22nd, 2022, we heard that a Jerusalem court indefinitely postponed the eviction, quote unquote, the expulsion, more like it, of a Palestinian family from their home in Sheikh Jarrah. The Salem family was basically set to be expelled on March 1st, and Israeli police gave an order allowing them to remove Palestinians at any point in March so that the so-called new owner, right-wing city council member Yonatan Yosef, could move in to their home. The Jerusalem Magistrates Court ruled that the expulsion would be suspended to allow time to consider an appeal against the removal of the family. What's interesting, though, is that in exchange for this indefinite postponement of their expulsion, the Salems will be required to deposit $7,750 with the court as collateral. The court ordered that the property's so-called Jewish owners respond to the Salem's arguments. This is insane because Israel often does this, where they basically try to expel Palestinians from their homes, deny them some of their rights, kidnap them, arrest them, whatever it may be. And in exchange, they say, oh, we'll let you go, or oh, we won't demolish your home, or oh, we won't kick you out of your home, but you have to pay us.
Isn't that called extortion?
Yeah, that's called extortion.
Let's start it from the begin of the story. Freezing doesn't mean cancel the.
Of course.
Yes, we are. I want to speak in Arabic in at this time. تجميد مش يعني إنه التغى القرار هذا أولاً. ثانياً.
So postponing it doesn't mean that they are actually canceling the expulsion of the Salem.
ثانياً الصراع كان مش بس إنه علشان أرض دار سالم، إنه الصراع كمان كان إنه أراضي حي الشيخ جراح، إنه عدا عن دار سالم في 87 بيت مهدد بالحي الغربي. لازم نحكي إشي عن الشيخ جراح، إنه الشيخ جراح هي كانت 6 أحياء، في كرم المفتي، كرم الجعوني، في الحي الغربي، وفي مناطق تانية. هلا الإسرائيل الجانب الإسرائيلي هو غالبا
It's okay, no worries. Take your time.
الجانب الإسرائيلي استولى تقريبا على 4 أحياء من الحي الشيخ جراح. واقعيا هو عمل يعني هدول الأحياء صاروا مثلا زي إشي مبنى للداخلية، إشي استولوا عليه المستوطنين، صاروا حي للمستوطنين. إذا بنرجع لقبل كم من سنة لورا، بيت مكامل الكرد مثلا حاليا صارت أغلب هذيك المنطقة للمستوطنين. فماذا الغير كرم الجعوني اللي فيه 8 عيال المهددة بالتهجير، ونتيجة إنه لهلأ بيستنوا القرار، صار لهم تقريبا أكثر من 120 يوم بيستنوا القرار. وفي عندك هاد التجميد، يعني إنه بأي لحظة ممكن أنا أفك التجميد وتطلعوا وأعطيكم يمكن بس 10 أيام أو 5 أيام وتطلعوا كل شيء تمام.
أنت بتحكي عن عائلة الكرد ولا عائلة سالم هلا؟
إحنا حكينا عن العيال اللي في الحي الشرقي إنه لهلأ بيستنوا القرار. وبرضه يعني دفعوا مصاري. وعائلة سالم التجميد ممكن في أي لحظة إنهم يفكوه، يعطوهم فترة كتير بسيطة إنه للإخلاء ممكن 5 أيام أو 6 أيام، إنه خلص اطلعوا خلص، إنه فيش مجال. أما بالنسبة للمصاري، هدول المصاري للأسف نصهم بيكون للمحكمة ونصهم بيكون للشرطة، عشان إنه إذا في حال نفذوا إنه وكأنه الشرطة إنه كانت مجهزة حالها، بس عشان طلع هذا القرار التجميد فإنه خلص يعني إنه أخذوا أجارهم عشان كانوا مجهزين حالهم. أنت فاهمة كيف علي؟
زبالة. So basically, Nisreen is emphasizing that there are many families in Sheikh Jarrah that are facing a similar situation, that have already paid and are now still waiting. And she's saying that even though the Israeli court is postponing the issue of their expulsions, she says it's very likely that they will just reactivate it, and they'll only give them a few days to leave their homes. So they will have paid and then in the end been expelled in any event. And it's crazy because she's also saying that, what is this money going towards? She says that the money, half of it will go to the court and half of it will go to the police, the Israeli police, on account of the fact that they had prepared themselves to carry out the expulsion, but now the expulsion is canceled. So it's like a sort of like, I don't know, compensation to the police for not being able to carry out the expulsion. It's very bizarre.
It's a bonus.
Yeah, it's something. I don't know. Nisreen was also telling us about the various neighborhoods within Sheikh Jarrah or within East Jerusalem. هم المناطق اللي كنت تحكي عنها هم جوا شيخ جراح ولا جوا بس؟
هم الشيخ جراح. هلا كلهم الشيخ جراح كلهم.
اوكي.
الشيخ جراح هو عبارة عن 6 أحياء، 4 من هدول الأحياء أخذوهم وضل حيا انه خلص يعني
اوكي
انه اذا باخذوهم خلص الشيخ جراح فعليا هذا. خليني
راحت.
احكي
اوكي
لك
خليني بس اترجم
ثاني
التفاصيل لانه هذا الاشي
اضافه
كثير مهم.
لهذا إضافة لهذا الإشي بدي أحكي لك إنه الشيخ جراح هو فعليا قلب مدينة القدس. يعني إذا بدك تروح على رام الله بدك تمرق منه، إذا بدك تروح على العيسوية بدك تمرق منه، بدك تروح على جبل المكبر بدك تمرق منه. يعني المناطق اللي الأساسية
Yes.
في القدس يعني قرى حوالين القدس لازم تمرق من الشيخ جراح.
Okay.
الصدفة الغريبة يعني للموضوع.
Yeah. Okay, so she's basically saying that there are 6 neighborhoods within Sheikh Jarrah. The occupation already expelled and took over 4 of those 6 neighborhoods. The remaining 2 that are left are the ones that now are the subject of this particular resistance. She said that if these 2 neighborhoods are lost, then Palestinians are going to be in an incredibly difficult situation because the location of Sheikh Jarrah is very, very important, very strategic. If you want to go anywhere, you have to pass through Sheikh Jarrah. She's saying if you want to go to Ramallah, you have to pass through Sheikh Jarrah. It goes beyond these families losing their homes. Obviously, that's one aspect of it. It's part of Israel's continued ethnic cleansing of Palestinians, continuing to expel more and more Palestinians, and it's part of their long-term strategy to continue to settle this land and expel the natives. That's one part. But the other part, too, is that there's this additional consequence, which is that Palestinians that are outside of Sheikh Jarrah, that are living in other neighborhoods, are also going to see their movement hampered, and it will be made more difficult if Israel expels Palestinian families from those final 2 neighborhoods. So there is going to be consequences larger than just those Palestinian families who are expelled, who obviously have to face the most severe consequences, but it will reverberate beyond that.
Nisreen, you seem to be somebody who is very close to the front lines of everything happening on a day-to-day basis. As somebody who lives pretty close, presumably, to the Damascus Gate, a focal point of Israeli aggression and apartheid, can you describe some of the things that you witnessed in May of 2021 as things were escalating and what you see today?
It's a bad memories actually. في مرة من المرات أنا كنت عم بصور الفيديو، وهذا الفيديو بسببه فيديو معين اللي هلأ رح نحكي موقفه، وهذا الفيديو بسببه أنا دخلت على التحقيق بصراحة. هذا الفيديو هو عبارة عن كان في شاب واقف انضرب من قبل الجنود الإسرائيليين، وراح بكل بساطة لأنه كان الشاب صغير يمكن 15 سنة، راح بكل بساطة وحكى للضابط المسؤول عن الجنود إنه هدول ضربوني. فالضابط حكى له وين ضربوك؟ فقال له اجري، فقام الضابط كمل عليه حرفيا. أما بالنسبة للمواقف اللي بتصير هلأ، أكتر موقف يعني عن جد كان صادم وقدامي الإشي صار. واحد من ذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة، الضابط قام بترهيبه وتخويفه، وكان بده يعتقله فعليا لولا ما الناس الموجودين سحبوه. وانصاب هذا الشخص انصاب في زي حالة هلع وفزع وخوف، وانتقل للمستشفى، ويمكن ضل مصدوم جوا المستشفى لأنه هو بالنهاية إنه بني آدم ذو احتياجات خاصة. وبعديها طلع، والشرطة بكل بساطة حكت إنه هذا الفيديو مفبرك. طب لما يحكوا هذا الفيديو مفبرك يعني وإحنا عينينا شو يعني مفبركين مثلا، فأنا بحس إنه مرات بتصير أشياء فعليا إنه بتأذيك من جوا، بس هم بخدوها حتى في الكلام اللي بيطلعوه للسوشيال ميديا أو الكلام اللي بيطلعوه للإعلام، إنه لا هذا الإشي ما صار، إنه هذا الإشي زي جوك، إشي زي هيك، بس إنه مش إشي تاني.
So she was saying that last May, she was filming an incident that she ended up being interrogated about by the Israeli police. The incident was that there was a boy who was around 15 years old who was being beaten by soldiers, and he went and told the commander that the soldiers hit me. And the commander asked him, where did they hit you? And he said, on my leg. And so then at that point, the commander hit him again on the leg, and Nisreen ended up being interrogated for trying to capture this incident. She said that another incident that happened today, recently, within the scope of the recent events was the arrest by the Israeli police of the boy with special needs. That photo was circulating around social media. And she said that the crazy thing about that incident, beyond the fact that they arrested a boy with special needs who was absolutely terrified and, shocked and remained terrified for days, was that the police came out and said that the video that was circulating of that was fabricated. And Nisreen says, is it our eyes that are fabricated? Because we saw the whole thing. And so, Nisreen, I just want to ask you quickly, what did the Israeli police say was the reason for their arrest of the boy with special needs?
He said, at a simple way, he was here from the beginning of the protest. So he learned from you how he protests, and he, in a simple way, speak Allahu Akbar. What they say at the protest, and he have many things that help the protest. So when he said Allahu Akbar in a simple way, he come through him and try to arrest him. And many people tried to speak with him, and they told to him he has a special needs. You can't do it. So he said in a simple way, he's here from the beginning and said Allahu Akbar, and it's prohibited to say Allahu Akbar in Sheikh Jarrah. So he want to arrest him.
Just in the neighborhood of Sheikh Jarrah? Like, what about Ramallah? Can you say it there? Are you allowed to say it in Gaza? Like, where?
You can say it. He said you can say it just at the mosque, not at the street.
Oh my goodness.
So there's geographical limitations within Sheikh Jarrah as well. You can't do it in the street, but you can do it in the mosque. That's actually crazy because on the one hand, they're saying that you all fabricated the video of his arrest. And on the other hand, they're saying, no, we arrested him because he said Allahu Akbar, which, by the way, is suddenly banned.
Actually, the settlers doing their praise and their Talmud in Sheikh Jarrah. Actually behind us, and nobody speak to them and tell them it's prohibited to do that in mood or your praise at Sheikh Jarrah. So I think it's about the religion actually more than the what's happening at Sheikh Jarrah. It's about the religion, the ideology, what we think.
Jewish supremacy, right? That one religion can be practiced while the other is banned. And it's actually not even real Judaism, right? Because the Torah says don't take up arms and steal Palestine. So if you're really reading that, you wouldn't be there in the first place.
Yes.
I found it interesting that in 1948, many African Muslims made their pilgrimage to Palestine to join the Arab Liberation Army and fought on the side of Palestinians to defend the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Can you tell us what the Al-Aqsa Mosque means to you and your family?
Actually, at the end, we are Muslims. It's important for Muslim. Palestine actually has a black ethnic before the 48. We have the African society, and actually it is near Al-Aqsa Mosque. It's not far away from Al-Aqsa Mosque. I think it's like 14 or 13 meters near Al-Aqsa Mosque, and they had 8 families which came from Africa, and the Khalifa at this time give them that place because he think the black people is honest, and they will protect this land. So they live until now in this land.
Are you speaking about are those your ancestors?
Yes.
And do you know where they originally came from in Africa?
Actually, I I didn't do any searches. So I said an Afro-Palestinian, and that's all. And that is.
There's a lot of, I think, discussions about terms and labels. I wanted to get your impression on that as well. So you identify as an Afro-Palestinian. That term does not bother you. Some people will say Black Palestinian. Some people will say, no, I'm just Palestinian.
Yes.
Can you speak a little bit on that?
About Afro-Palestinian, we have some tradition. It's different about the Palestinian tradition, but we try to mix it with the Palestinian tradition, like the sewing our hair. So the Palestinian people recently start to doing their hairs like us, and they start to have. We start to have weddings and eating the food. Actually, the food it's beginning to we have Afro-Palestinian food. You know you know.
So
I personally don't know, actually. Yeah, I have virtually no idea.
Okay, so there's some culinary traditions that continued in the Afro-Palestinian community from the African traditions.
Actually, our ancestors speak the African language between them until now, but we don't know the African accent very well.
Do you have some words that remained?
No.
But
our ancestors speak until now at the African accent when they gonna angry or speak between them in subject they don't want us to understand it, you know.
Yeah, but they're speaking Arabic in the African accent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Understood.
How many?
We have black people in the whole of Palestine. We have black people in Bethlehem, in Jerusalem, in Akko. We have different places here with the black accent.
How many Afro-Palestinians do you think there are in all of Palestine, if you had to guess?
12,000, I think.
Oh, wow.
Something like this. Yes. The real problem here with the Afro-Palestinian, I think that nobody in the world not enough. They don't know enough about us. They don't know that we are here, and we are an African Palestinian and have our issues. You know, we have a different issues with the Palestinian or the Israeli society. We can't know where we are, either the two. If we want to speak actually what happened, we don't know where we are. There are here they didn't expect us enough, and here they didn't expect us enough, you know. At the last, we are black people. They look at us like we have this look about they can't marry us because our color or because we are Afro-Palestinian. So they have this look. Actually, the Arab side and the Israeli side, it's look like the double apartheid of about in this place.
So you're saying you experience color-based racism from both Palestinian communities and from Israeli?
Yes, they have racism. Yes.
Wow. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I saw a woman with her child, and her child start to ask her, "Mom, why is this girl are black?" So the mom spoke to her son and told him, she's black because the sun, and and she didn't put a sunblock, and
this is a Palestinian woman.
Yes, the boy looked at me. It's, oh, you are burning. You are not like us. So I think the problem it's the the parents didn't have enough knowledge about the Afro-Palestinian society, and they didn't have more information about the Black ethnic. Actually, from Africa, all the civilization becomes, all of us, we have an African ethnic inside us. It's lack of information here, the main problem, and they didn't know that we have no stop. We have an interesting thing in our society. You should know it, and you should read more about the African Palestinian and what they do. Um, we had a struggle with the Israeli side about our about our nation, and no, we are Palestinian like you. So I think we can't do this. If you had racist, the Palestinian side, they have racist about us. I think one day my friend um, has a girlfriend, and they refused to. Her parents refused to marry to go and marry her because he is a black. Do you think the black people has problems if he is black? You know, do you think this is a problem to be an black, or or it's a problem to being different about your society and the color? It's it's not an important thing, I think.
Yeah, that's super disheartening to hear
Yes,
because the Afro-Palestinian community has been a pivotal part of Palestinian resistance,
yes,
right? The first woman to be imprisoned for paramilitary operations against the occupation is Fatima Barnawi, a Nigerian
yes,
Palestinian who was detained
yes,
in 1967.
yes. At the Intifada, they many people are Afro-Palestinian go to jail because the Intifada, the second Intifada, and we have a martyrs actually at the Intifada. One of these martyrs is Osama Jadeh. You know that the Israeli side shoot him because he want to give some of his blood at the hospital. Yes. So either we have our problem, and we had our struggle against the Israeli side.
Yeah, and on the Israeli side, Israelis obviously have a specific disdain for black people, right? Whether they
Yes,
are invalidating and deporting African Jews, whether they're murdering
yes,
black
yes,
children like Solomon and
yes,
Tekka,
yes,
or whether
yes,
they are sterilizing Ethiopian Jewish women, right? But
yes,
at the same time, then they will tokenize black Jews and try to use black Jewish trauma as like a buffer,
yes,
right? From
yes,
criticism and
yes.
as a way to justify their settler colonial aims.
They put the black people, the Jewish black people, in a special neighborhoods at Israel. They don't have any jobs like the other Jewish people,
Yes.
like the European, the European Jewish. They can work at the cleaning, or at houses, or at the army, but not to going to be a doctor or a lawyer. You can't see any black lawyer at Israel. Either if they studies, they look like this, because you are black, you can't work at a good job. I think that Israel moved the American experience and what the American doing with the black people, and do it here at Palestine, but it's not in the same way. we can say it's a softly, in a soft way.
In October 2021, you were one of 16 people who was abducted and assaulted by the occupation forces simply for reporting a crime under international law. I also read that your
Yes.
sister, Sajda, and your mother were brutalized as well, causing various cuts and bruises. I apologize for asking you to relive your trauma, but can you just tell us about that day?
No, it's good for me. Actually, it's give me some lessons about what I what um what I can do if I go to jail again. I'm sorry for this, but if you are Palestinian, you will think that the jail, it's about your future. If you want to think about your future, the jail the jail will be a choice, because we are occupied. So what happened in this day? I was filming with my colleague, and they have a protest at Damascus Gate. They kicked me and took me at the car. I hear some of soldiers speak. You can you look at you about mirror? You are black. You are. You have a color like a shetty. I'm sorry for this, but he speak to me like this, because nobody can hear you, and nobody mind about what happened at this car. But I think I feel like that I'm alone at this car, and all of Israeli side speak like us. That he's present like the government. He acting the government. So when somebody told you that you are black and he acting the government, you feel like all the government speak to you that you are black. It's a bad feeling. I can't explain it anymore, but it's it's an horrible thing. I can say it in a simple way. It's an horrible day and horrible thing, and it's a bad memory about us. I remember when everything ended, my boss gave me a call and told me, "Hey, do you want to complete your job? I know that you are shocked and you don't want to. I think you don't want to complete." I said to him, "No, that's my job to tell the people what happened, either if what happened with me, or what happened with my neighbor, or what happened in Palestine." So I think it's good to complete my work, and just took the videos and to show the people what happened in Palestine and what happened with us, and to tell them this is true. What happened is true. What happened at the social media in Mayo, this affected what happened, and the view of Israel. It's a beautiful place and a beautiful government, and you know this view. It's like took it and broken to the other people because of the social media, and they took a video and show, no, this is Israel, this is the real Israel, not a beautiful thing as you thinking about. After they arrest me, they beginning to say, "Oh, you gonna arrested. You want to get arrested again? You didn't learn about the first time you arrested, so you feel like you did something wrong. Either of you didn't something wrong."
You said earlier that you can't be both an activist and a journalist. Can you talk about that?
Yes. أنا بحكي إنه أنت ما بتقدر تكون ناشط وما بتقدر تكون صحفي في نفس الوقت، لأنه القنوات اللي أنت بتشتغل فيهم بتكون تمثلهم. فإذا بتشتغل ناشط وصحفي مع بعض، يعني مثلا تخيلي إنه يكون في مظاهرة، أنت تنزل على المظاهرة وتشارك في المظاهرة يعني وتغطيها مع بعض. هم ما راح يقدروا يميزوا، وراح ياخدوا فكرة عن القناة إنه هاي القناة إشي معادية للسامية أو إشي زي هيك، وراح يأثر على شغلك،
لأنه أنت
يمكن القناة تضطر إنها تطردك عشان تقدر تستمر.
فهمت، لأنه أنت مرتبطة بقناة، أنت مش يعني لحالك، مش independent.
بالضبط. وحتى يعني كل القنوات تقريبا بيتعاملوا مع هذا الموضوع، بالذات في هاي المنطقة، يعني القدس الشرقية، هيك يعني بيتعاملوا معها.
Yeah, okay. So she's just saying that because you're going as a journalist on the ground and you're representing a particular channel or a particular organization, it's not proper for you to participate as well in the protests, because that may prevent or that may hinder that organization's access to specific areas in the future. And, you know, it's not looked well upon if you do that, so you may also lose your job. And I was saying that that's
actually we can speak about this point. Many of Palestinian people, because the political activism, they lose their job, especially at this time. And what happening at Sheikh Jarrah, I hear a young speak told me that he lose his job because his activism. We don't have Palestinian bosses here at East Jerusalem. If you want to work, you will work at the Jewish side.
So that mirrors what happens in the United States as well, where you could lose jobs, you can lose opportunities, you can lose speaking engagements if you criticize the illegal occupation of Palestine.
Yes, it's happening on Palestine too. Some of the families which in Al Sheikh Jarrah, I know Diab's families, the man who's feed his children, Saleh Diab, he lose his job because the settlers says that he's a terrorist and he can't work anymore, because in a simple way the settlers speak that he's a terrorist and he's annoying them and don't like the Jewish people.
So you can go to jail for saying Allah Akbar. You can lose your job if somebody just calls you a terrorist. Yes. Man, what are Palestinians even complaining about? Sounds pretty good.
Right?
Taxes. Feel that you are shocked about what I said.
No, I mean, this confirms all the things that we already say on the episode, right?
Yeah, it's not so much shocked as it is just like, it's very sad to hear, and so my defense mechanism is to make jokes about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're in the neighborhood of Sheikh Jarrah right now, and you are inside of a family's home. We don't want their name or anything like that, but we do want to know, how did you get to know that this family?
Actually, Muna was my friend since the university. We were both at the university.
Casual name drop, Muna El Kurd. Casual, Muna.
Yes. Yes. So about and what happened about last summer that gave me more friends from Al Sheikh Jarrah neighbor. Actually, all the families here is kind and lovely, and you can smoothly get to them if you are journalist or want to help them to have a picture to people about what's happening. If you are a journalist and Palestinian journalist, I think it's easy to make relation with them, because there is They kind. They kind. Yes.
Okay, super duper last question. I swear this one really is the last one. What is one thing that you want the world to know about Afro-Palestinians?
One thing. Many things.
Well, what as much as you want.
That we have a culture, we have our struggle, our double struggle behind the Palestinian society and a giant Palestinian society in the same time, and a giant the Israeli side. We lose our land twice. We lose our land in Africa, and we lose our land at 48. At the Nakba, we lost our houses again. Yes, and we are here. I want people to know more about Afro-Palestinian. Actually,
Nisreen,
yes,
where are your families from in 48? Where were they expelled
it,
from?
yes, it's the most interesting story for me. My grandfather was in some place called Al Khdeira. It's between Haifa and Tulkarem, and he has a big land there. My grandfather, since Al Nakba, until he died, he going to his land and speak to us. From here to here was my land. If I died and I can't had my land again, you should know that from here to here is my land. And it's an interesting story and sad story at the same time. Yes,
For sharing
and
that.
Thank you
yes.
so much. We appreciate you.
Okay, thank you guys. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Nisreen.
Bye bye.
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 Folks, that has been another episode of the Palestine Pod. Thank you all so much for listening. Please check out our website, www.palestinepod.com. Send us an email, palestinepod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram @thepalestinepod. And check out our Patreon, www.patreon.com/PalestinePod. That has been another episode of the Palestine Pod. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day.